Hey guys, you're watching Explore the Weird. If you're into creepy and weird, you must be a goon, and I have goons I want to thank right now. Goons I want to thank. Guys, please, amazing support from the goons right now, but these guys stood out like anything. Jenna Morrow, Gameplay Inf, Ghost Blood V, Tampa's Hot Wheels, Jane Wolf, Ricky, Dill All, Angela, Farmer Will, Angel Power, Paige Mum Power, Jenna Cole, Crimson, D's Nuts, XX Living Dead Girl XX Heist, Don Pizzo, Kelly's Tiny Dream Bus, Penny Edwards 6242, Flaw Someone, Tony Gar, Chris Grimes, the OG, Lulu Bug 388, and Jenna Cole 1266. If you are like, hey Teddy, what the hell, where's my shout out? Don't you worry, it's because you're not goon enough. Interact with the video, smoke that like button, subscribe so you get notifications. Tell the YouTube algorithm you love watching long form content. You're tired of watching these low form, highly, barely moving, barely adding anything to the video type content. There are channels for that, but this channel is not like that. I react, I'm a longer form content, it's a longer reaction, I talk a lot, and if that's you, then you are a goon, and you're at the right place. With that, we're gonna get right into it. More For You page, weird, crazy stuff, and yeah, we're gonna see what today has in store.
These children that are coming in with someone that says, I'm their mother, aunt, uncle, or whatever, we have no way of verifying that.
We do not. We used to. Under President Trump, they had rapid DNA testing. That's been done away with.
Are they given money, these people that are released into the country?
So it's our taxpayers that ultimately facilitate the travel. But yes, travel is facilitated, and they are given all the necessities that they need.
But that could be a trafficker.
There's a very good possibility that they're being trafficked, that they're going into the sex industry, or they're being forced into the sweatshops.
And we know that. We knowingly are spending our tax dollars to sell children into sex trafficking. How, under any theory, is that okay for us to be spending tax dollars to traffic children? Holy
Yeah, but like this is something that even our own foster care system, they say, is basically the same purpose. So one of the craziest things, I've never seen Dr. Phil outside of the Dr. Phil show, so that in itself is like, oh my god, what the hell, he actually leaves the studio? I don't watch Dr. Phil that much, but the clips that I've seen, he's always on the show, so it's like, what, he actually went to the border? What's he trying to do? Is he going to send all these migrants to the ranch? What's his goal? There's some things the guy hits on. Rapid DNA testing has been gone away with, which is kind of like, hey, you're just taking these guys' word that, hey, this is their kids and they're just coming over, and you're just assuming they could be doing anything with those kids. That is their valid points. That is scary to think about. Oh my god. It's one thing thinking, hey, it's just a family coming through. It's another thing thinking this is a guy that's posing to have a family to then sell one of these people that's coming. Oh my god, it's getting crazy. Regardless, we're gonna keep it going. That I've seen this in other compilations, and it is so weird that this is what we have, and in paintings it's depicted in a different way. And it's also crazy to think, like, look at how much sand we had to excavate in order to see the full Sphinx, and no one really knows. It could have been depicted as something else. Another civilization could have taken over, changed the way that it was depicted. Many people say, hey, it originally was a lion and then something happened and then it was changed by a pharaoh and whatnot. There's many theories on what it could be, and I think we will never know. We will never know what the actual original Sphinx looked like unless we get a time machine. We need a time machine. Someone make it happen. I'm gonna go back with you. I'm explore with you guys. Oh boy, we're gonna be like Doctor Who hopping into the time machine, Teddy. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's fight everything. We're gonna fight the demons. We're gonna fight we're gonna keep it going.
Most Americans are the same as the British.
Well, our food supply is poison.
Yeah.
It was taken over by one group of people, and they own the rights to the seeds and all of that type of stuff, and they forced out all of these farmers. If their seeds blew onto their property, they could sue them for using their seeds, and the media just ignored all of that because they get paid by them. That's sort of what is going on globally, is everybody's is just choosing money on the bag, as fucking kids say nowadays. That's what the problem is. Nobody is, everybody's screaming and yelling about shit that doesn't matter, like stand-up comedians. They'll yell about that, but they won't talk about literally people poisoning their own countrymen. I mean, they should be fucking put to death for what they did. There you go. There's a hot take.
Yeah, Bill went there. Wait, is that Bill Gates? It wasn't Bill Gates that was talking, though, but it appears to be Bill Gates that was listening. And if he was listening and he wasn't talking, you wonder why. Hey, Bill, what do you know? What do you know? And, these are valid points. This is a thing that is happening. Seed genetics matter. Farmers are fighting each other over seed genetics that are cross-pollinating into each other's farms. And they're like, hey, your seed, we came into my farm and it's growing in my farm. I had no idea. And this other farmer comes in and he's like, hey, you're growing my seed over there. And it's like, dude, we already have a farming crisis, and protest happening. We don't need any more addition on top of that. But this guy's hitting on a valid point. All these seeds are owned by one single entity, and their goal is to preserve and keep away as many people as they can so that they can say it's their own. You start going, hey, something else is going on here. Is this all for the big seed vault in the Antarctic or something else? Yeah, something else. Exactly. Goons, stay strong. Make sure you know where your food is coming from. And most likely you probably don't. And if that is the case, you grow your own, I guess. And then if you're growing your own, make sure you know where your seeds are from. All right, let's keep it going.
Here's the Denver mayor saying we're going to cut city programs to the children and others for the illegal aliens.
Thank you all so much for being here this morning. I'm here to talk a little bit about the devastating impact of the failure of Republican leadership in Congress this week to pass comprehensive immigration change, and the impact that will have on both city budgets and on services that we can provide for newcomers in the city. The second is we will start to have to greenlight a set of hard decisions about budget reductions across the city to meet those costs that we know will continue to arrive. We want to talk about two of those today. While they're the first steps, they unfortunately will not be the last and may not be the hardest. This is a plan for shared sacrifice. And so in terms of our first step on city cuts, we are announcing today we will make some changes both to our services at DMV and to our services on Parks and Rec.
In New York, in Illinois, all over, they're saying, oh, the public school's closed now, and there's no more sports, and there's no more weekend rec. The illegal aliens live there.
Yeah, this is definitely something that I have seen is happening. I've seen a bunch of short-form content that's been shown to me on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and it does appear that, hey, they're pushing schools, especially the kids going to schools, to go remote so they can fill those schools with people that they need to house that are migrants crossing the border. I have seen a lot of content portrayed to me. Right now, all my algorithms are showing that. I don't know if it's authentic and how true this content is, but it's definitely something where I stop and watch because I'm like, dude, what the heck? Is this something that's real? It's like, you see homeless and homeless veterans and they're like, hey, like, I can't have anything and you guys are getting free handouts. Like, what do I need to do? And we've seen funny parodies as well, which is unfortunate, where, vets and American citizens are pretending to cross the border and come back as migrants and posing as migrants so they can get these free handouts like the housing and income and not have to work. So it's, he's hitting on some things, and it's a love-hate relationship with Alex Jones. It's love-hate. He is the reason we have the shadow ban on YouTube. And for those goons that know, yes, we are currently in a shadow ban period for the next forever days, like June 6th or something. So YouTube is making it harder for this content to get out. I need your help now more than ever. If you're like, Teddy, what the hell is a goon? Just play the next video. Dude, get out of here. All right, there's other channels for you. Goons are cool. We got a gang, the Ganja Goons gang. We are growing like anything. We're like-minded individuals truly trying to explore. We're not truly conspiracy theorists. We're not full believers on every single theory out there. We're truly skeptical, and we're trying to explore. And if that is you, you are a goon, please interact with the next video. You see me on the thumbnail. Click on the thumbnail. I would love to see you guys again and call you a goon. All I ask, interact. But a true goon smokes the like button before the video even starts. So with that, we're going to keep it going. Yeah, quite interesting indeed.
Churches and cathedrals were never built for religion and places of worship, and I'm going to show you exactly what these were built for. Now, churches and cathedrals display cymatic patterns in their windows, and cymatics are patterns made by frequency and sound. These windows display high vibrational healing frequencies, and some chapels even have songs encoded into their architecture. Now, this is what cathedrals look like on the inside. Clearly, this is not set up and designed for people to all be sitting and listening to someone all the way at the front. They were designed for people to lay down and listen to the healing frequencies from the instruments in these cathedrals. Now, our ancestors knew exactly how powerful frequencies are, and the oracle chamber is a perfect example of this. This is an underground chamber in Malta that pitches sound at 111 hertz, and 111 has been proven to kill cancer cells. Now, these cathedrals were also designed to generate their own free energy and convert it into electricity. This is why the word cathode is in cathedral. A cathode is a type of electrode through which electrons move. Now, this information has been intentionally hidden from us from our predecessors. However, we are in a time of awakening. The public consciousness is shifting, and this information is coming to light. And this will definitely be a part of our free new world. Peace and love.
Yo, I am all for cathedrals being sounds, that were put in there that healed people. One of the craziest things we've recently seen is a video about linen and, how it emits a frequency of like 5,000 and how it has healing properties. Only when it's by itself, it's bad to mix like linen and wool, right? That I guess cancels it out. Wool by itself also has 5,000. This guy talks about the churches, emitting frequencies of 111 hertz. And you go, hey, what is the frequency? Hey, 111 hertz kills off cancer cells. There's a lot of research. There's a lot of research being done in the sound frequencies, and what they do to our body and cells. And especially when you start looking at when they took all the bells out, right? There was a mass extinction of bells, if you will. They wiped them all out. They were like, we're going to burn out all the bells. And hey, churches had bells. And now this guy's hitting on some points like, hey, the way the church is built, it's really to resonate that sound. And, it really speaks to me. And then he hits on the point, hey, cathode, cathedral, potentially if it's Nikola Tesla times and there's electricity that was free-forming, yeah, potentially these buildings had electricity free-flowing through it. And that could also be one of the lost tech that we have now lost. But it does make you wonder. All right, let's keep it going.
Just so we're clear on the scale of the issue, each electric vehicle battery for a heavy-duty truck weighs 8,000 pounds, and you need at least 2 of them. So we're talking the weight of, 4 or 5 cars. My friends and peers in the industry nationwide who have tried to make efforts to put in, say, hey, I'm going to convert a dozen forklifts to electric, or I want to tee up a facility for 30 electric trucks. There's no power. The utilities come back, the cities come back and say, is this some kind of joke? One friend tried to put in Illinois a facility, tee it up for 30 trucks electrification. The city came back and said, this is some kind of joke. You're asking for more draw than the entire city requires. And just to give you an idea, 30, 50 trucks, that's like a 5-6 megawatt application. The factory that makes the trucks is a 2 megawatt factory.
Yeah. And really what it comes down to is there's not enough power in this power grid to sustain the future industry and where that industry and power requirements are going to be. We're going to need more demand for power, and power is going to increase with the price that you're going to pay for this utility. Utilities increase, you're pushing people out because now you need to afford this power. You're going to start diminishing, hey, I'm going to start restricting what I use power when I have power access. And what if we start going into rolling blackouts in order to start conserving power for alternate needs that a different entity tells you? Guys, the need for power, if you have dependence, you need electricity. You're not Amish, you're not a Mennonite, you're not a Buddhist monk that's living out without any power. You're gonna need to figure out a way. If you need power, look into solar, look into batteries. Solar is useless without batteries. Get both. Don't just waste your time with just solar. Oh, it sounds good, Teddy. I just have solar. I'm good. No, you're not. When the power grid goes out, your solar ain't powering anything. You need that energy saved. You need to use that. So, this guy is hitting on some points. In the future. We may not be able to meet that demand. Even with the way that the system is currently structured, it's set to fail. And it is a valid point. It is a valid point. All right, let's keep it going.
You must have noticed all the chemtrails being sprayed all over our globe.
From time to time.
My question is, I'd like to know why. I don't know if it's they think they're doing this with good intention or if they're really just trying to kill us all.
They, in some sense, are under the misguided impression that they need to do certain things in a certain way to balance out the climate of your planet. But the idea is that they're actually putting a lot more poisons in the air because they're not necessarily using the substance that would actually work. Gold.
Atomic gold?
Yes. If they were to use that, it would actually balance out the climate of your planet with absolutely no ill side effects whatsoever. But because you value the idea of the gold in a completely different way, you hoard it in that sense and don't use it in these kinds of circumstances where it would actually be of benefit to your entire global climate pattern. Now, much of what you're experiencing is, in a sense, a natural cycle, although it has been exacerbated by many of the things that the people on your planet have done technologically. But the idea of warming and cooling cycles on your planet are natural and periodic. The idea, however, is that you can balance them out much more smoothly by approaching them with an appropriate form of technology, which you're not doing.
Oh man, this guy, I've heard the Anunnaki conspiracy before, which talks about, hey, they came over here for the gold and really took the gold and left to preserve their own environment or atmosphere. Or even, we've heard other theories of the Greys coming over just to preserve their species. And one of the things they could have used was gold as well. We've heard many theories. Gold is important. Trust me, I got gold today. Yo, I'm trying to flex gold because, I've been watching other reaction channels. They talk about their chains. They talk about their bling. They're like, go buy all this. I'm like, bro, what is this? Why? What is the reason? How do I work with this algorithm while I'm in this shadow band to try and acquire more like-minded goons that are into long-form content and long-form reactions? And, Bashar, dang it. I go, hey, we're not using the right technology. We're still trying to figure out what that is. There's no way we're going to start pumping gold into our atmosphere. The way that it is, we're preserving gold. Countries are trying to keep their gold as much as they can. Some of our systems were once based out of gold, like the currency systems. So you go, hey, will we ever start shooting gold into the atmosphere? Potentially in the near future? Probably not. But it is nice to know that the solution's right there, and we're having trouble to figure it out. But, I'm starting to wonder about Bashar. He has great ideas and plans. I just don't know at which point in my lifetime. I feel like almost all his things I'm not going to experience in my lifetime, but it's great to know in the future we're going to experience all these things, and it's just not right now. So this is like another one of those. It's like, hey, it'll happen in the future, but right now you guys are confused and you're going to die. It's like, yeah, we already know that everything's poisoning us, dude. The water's poisoning us, our food's poisoning us, our medicine's poisoning us. There's nothing. There's no winning in this world. All right, let's keep it going.
Have you ever noticed why vending machines, there's always a Coca-Cola one and then there's a Pepsi one right beside it? So if you go to like a stadium, they usually have one machine
Just
and then
all for Coke and Pepsi?
Yeah, and then another one for like the Pepsi products.
Why?
But why would they put it right beside each other? Check this out.
Yeah.
Because if there's a Coke machine, right? In your head, your thought process is, okay, am I gonna buy a Coke or not?
Yeah.
But when you see Coke and Pepsi, the thought process in your head is, which one will I get?
Okay.
So you're gonna buy it. It's just which one. So it changes from am I gonna buy to which one do I buy? Now this is real science, fam. This is real like marketing science. Both companies started profiting way more and increased the sales the moment competition was right beside it.
Damn.
Because it no longer became a choice of am I hungry or not? Am I thirsty or not?
They give you options.
It became a which one do I want?
Yo, shout out to the Georgia Coca-Cola Museum in Atlanta, Georgia. I have been there. I have tried the Beverly. Trust me, it's street water. It's literally carbonated street water with aspartame. I was like, dude, why are they selling this? I was like, hey, all the tourists gotta try this. It's like the most interesting flavor. A lot of the flavors were real good. You get to try flavors from all over the world. I went with the traditional thumbs up. I'm Indian. It's like, hey, this is my go-to. I can't get that in America unless it's imported. So when I saw that at the museum, the World Museum for Coca-Cola, I was like, dude, yes, give me more thumbs up. Did try a lot of things, but this guy's theory is quite interesting. I've even heard of like these marketing theories when it comes to cereals and how they portray them to kids. Putting the sugary, fun-looking ones that are at the bottom shelf so the kids can reach it and make you want to buy it. That's kind of what this feels like. And at first when he said the theory, I was like, hey, he's really talking about, why is the vending machines together? Hey, why would you put two vending machines in two different places? Go to one place, grab, whatever you want. Makes more sense to me. But then, I start to think everyone was trying to imitate Coke. There'd be fake Coca-Cola products, and finally Pepsi established itself as a brand as well. Then you go, yeah, that does change the question of like, should I get a Coke versus should I get a Coke or a Pepsi? And then you're like, oh, so now it's not should I buy it or not, it's which one am I gonna buy? It's like, yeah, dude, that is wild. That could be exactly why they're doing that. Yeah, interesting. Let's keep it going.
So this happened from asteroids, right? At least that's what we've been programmed to believe. But what if I told you that this was a phenomena that has happened from below and not something that fell from above? Isn't it interesting that what we have thought to be craters look a lot like geysers? Now let's compare both side by side. Pretty similar, right? Now, don't you find it strange that if these were from the impact of meteors, that no such thing is ever by or around these craters? Check out what Genesis 7:11 says. It says, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. Are you following me? God opened up the windows of heaven, and water came out through the firmament, and also it sprung up from the ground. Think about these as giant geysers that erupted at the time of the flood. Satan, the god of this world, and those who are serving his purpose are trying to cover up the fact that God has judged the world before by a flood. And as 2 Peter says, that these scoffers are willingly ignorant that by the word of God the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed by water, perished. They deny the flood, because if that happened, then so will his judgment by fire later come to pass. These large craters are also proof of a flood. Nothing is getting in or out until God cracks that sky open and he returns a second time. The evidence is all around us if you have eyes to see.
Yeah, it definitely makes you think, because the pictures do appear to be similar between Geyser. Oh my God, how did he pronounce it? I felt like he said it weird. I don't know. I also thought people say harassment weird. Harassment? Am I the one that's saying it weird? Regardless, ADHD all the time. No, this could maybe. I'm truly unsure. I need to do more research. It does appear like the pictures are very similar between a geyser and a crater, a meteor that hit, or a meteorical impact. It's just weird. It's just like, dude, I want to like say like, yeah, potentially. And then he relays religion. Regardless of religion, you're going to be fine. We're going to make it. We're going to keep hopping. We're never going to die. It's okay. Yeah, I'm always going to be there. Oh, Teddy. Oh, Teddy. Yes, I will be there. Don't you worry. Just find the videos. Keep connecting with me. Make sure you're in the same reality with me. I'm in the Berenstain reality currently. The fruit of the loom doesn't have a cornucopia in my timeline right now. Yeah. Interesting video. Let's see what happens. It sounds like we've already gone through the flood. Everything's dried up, and we got to see what's left to happen.
If the government were ever to digitize currency, your freedoms would evaporate. They could zero out your bank account and make you impoverished for being disobedient. You would be a serf at best. And with that in mind, you should know that central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are about to become the norm in Europe. The president of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde, has just said that Europeans will not be able to use more than $1,000 in cash anymore.
Now we have in Europe this threshold. Above 1,000 euros, you cannot pay cash. If you do, you are on the gray market. You take your risk. You get caught, you are fined, or you go in jail.
So you go to jail for spending your own money if they don't control it.
Yeah, that's basically what a CBDC is. And guys, I have another channel, The Crypto Future. I talk about CBDCs. I am anti-CBDCs, but if a CBDC wave is coming and countries start adopting and they start making it one of the requirements to spend currency in that country, it is going to be really crazy. As Tucker Carlson said, they can zero your balances out. They can restrict what you spend your money on. I know this sounds crazy. Daddy, I have plastic, and plastic's basically digital currency. No, it's not, buddies. Buddies, goons, listen to me. You may not be into crypto, but the best thing I can tell you is find a way to acquire Ethereum. Find a way to acquire Bitcoin. Find a way to acquire some cryptocurrency. Not all your eggs need to go into Bitcoin and Ethereum, but invest just a little bit. Just have some, just in case there is restrictions to the access to your money. You know, if there is a collapse and you cannot go to a bank to get money withdrawn, and it delays a decision that you can make, it is much easier to make that decision with a non-central system such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're reliant on peer-to-peer networks, right? Really, they're nodes that are validating. Regardless, this is too complicated to explain in this stream, but you guys got to trust me. Dude, this guy is hitting on some points. Listen to Tucker here. I feel like this is something that could happen. If it does happen, just understand that physical currency is one thing. Digital currency does not relate to physical currency. There's a lot more digital currency than physical currency. And when he talks about centralized, centralized bank digital currencies, this is a real risk that could come as we go more and more into the digitized universe. And it is a scary thing. It is a scary thing. Let's keep it going.
Third eye used to be on top of the head. When a baby is born, they have a little lumpy spot on top of their head. And everybody's like, that's the soft spot. That soft spot is where the original third eye used to be, on top of the head. Children have the highest levels of melatonin because of the pineal gland, or the third eye, producing the highest levels of melatonin. People are wearing a hat. What are they blocking? The ability for the sun to go right into that third eye, or right into the third eye through here too, and through the eyes. Now, light stimulates the pineal exclusively of the way of the eyes. And if you think about with all sun gazing and everything that we used to do with sun gazing, you're connecting with all of that to go right into the pineal gland, decalcify the pineal gland, take the fluoride out, and open and awaken the mind. In certain species, the pineal gland is actually 50% of the brain. There's seals with 50% of their brain is the pineal gland. And what's interesting is the pineal gland detects electromagnetic frequencies or disturbances on the earth. You would almost think that your third eye is your GPS. These devices that are being pinged with Wi-Fi disrupt the third eye. They turn off the ability for your GPS in your mind to function. Then what do you become reliant on? Technology. But the more you decalcify your third eye, the more you connect to the sun, the more you get all the full spectrums of color in which you need, the more the third eye begins to open up. With fluoride, which is a neurotoxin derived from phosphate fertilizer, it calcifies. Trying to calcify that third eye. Why? Because they're trying to keep you in the dark, lowering your consciousness and lowering your vibration, lowering your chakras or your frequency to the roots rather than being in the crown. And then if we think of the crown and your third eye, as they say, energy is exchanged through the crown and it goes up and down, inside and out. Then think if your third eye is above your head, your crown chakra is where all of that energy and all of that information is exchanging.
Yo, you guys know I don't have this problem, but this could help some goons out there, you know, if you're having issues with understanding or feeling like, hey, you're lost all the time, you know, and he hits on fluoride and things that can help, you know. In the thing it said third eye, and then some of the things were like DMT and cannabis. I'm like, hey, some of the goons in here, they know that stuff. Been smoking that like bud for quite some time. I start to wonder, hey, was that soft spot really where third eye existed and we've just evolved into a state where we no longer have a third eye? Or is the third eye more like a metaphorical third eye where, you know, it's just like, hey, in theory we are expressing and giving feelings through our brain, and, you know, putting a cap on maybe restricts that. But then I go, what about all those guys that wear aluminum foil and stuff? How are they so smart? I one time got most of my info from a homeless man that was wearing aluminum foil that told me about the electromagnetic whoa. Story for a whole different time. Yeah, it's a story. Relax. Oh boy. Yeah, this is quite intriguing. I definitely am interested to know more, especially I want to see like a calcified pineal gland versus like a fully non-calcified pineal gland. Is it truly fluoride that's calcifying it? Is there other things? Is it me putting my cell phone near my brain all the time? You know, I feel like there's many things that could impact the pineal gland, and it's crazy to think that some animals had 50% of their brain is the pineal gland, and ours is just so tiny. Oh boy, we gotta make it. Hey, it's not about the size, Teddy. It's not about the size. It's about how you use it. Yeah. How you guys using your pineal gland? I want to know. Yeah, using it real good. Okay, I believe you. Make sure it's open. Make sure you're getting that full chakra access through there. Yeah, quite interesting. As you guys know, I don't have this problem. My chakras are all open. I keep going to Reiki people, and they're like, hey, you should become a Reiki teacher now. And I'm like, buddies, I don't have the time. I got to react to the videos. All right, let's do just one more. Just one more, Teddy. Just one more.
You can never find truth. All you can do is find false, drop it, and get rid of it. And eventually, when you can't get rid of any more false, what you're left with is the truth. How much false can you find? And there's lots in history. I was looking around the internet and came across the images of the 1893 Chicago World Exposition. And it blew my mind because it looked like ancient Rome in the middle of downtown Chicago. And as I looked at it further, well, here's another one in Philadelphia, here's another one in St. Louis, in Buffalo, in San Francisco, and then as soon as they were done, they tore them all down and threw them in the garbage. That just told me there's something wrong with all of these. The story of the expositions is a gigantic lie. And I think it's so huge of a lie because I think they're right at a bridge point when so many things about the 1800s that seem strange and weird, right as this sort of period ends of unbelievable strangeness, and all of a sudden these fairs spring up all over the world with impossible buildings we're talking about, which are colossal structures. Chicago built 700 acres of fair in supposedly less than 2 years. St. Louis built 1,200 acres of exposition buildings. One of the buildings in Chicago, the manufacturer's building, would house 300,000 people. There's a giant statue in the middle of the lagoon. It was called the Golden Lady, and it was known as the Statue of the Republic. It was 65 feet tall. They say it was covered in gold leaves that had copper underneath, but others speculate it was actually made out of solid gold. So you're talking 65 foot high, potentially solid gold.
Yeah, this is crazy. I've heard of these world fairs and or expositions, whatever you want to call them, and it is eye-opening to know that, hey, we potentially had this tech. We potentially were in areas where we were able to build these sophisticated buildings, these architectural, things without, potentially having the knowledge to be able to do that. It almost feels like this knowledge is lost now, and we can't go back to being able to build as quickly and effectively as they did back in the 1900s. But I go back. I'm now a woke goon. I have seen expositions in modern day. I go to the Big E up here in New England, and the Big E is kind of thing. They got buildings everywhere. It's not as big as the Chicago Fair once was, and other expositions and fairs back in the 1900s. But I've seen what the modern day fairs are and what they've evolved to, and maybe that's what's happened. Hey, the old buildings aren't sustainable. We can't do masses like this. This isn't a profitable exposition. Then you go, hey, maybe they've adapted, but really they're also hitting on lost tech, and that tech can only come with that freedom, with that access to technology, that networking, and we've restricted that so much now. Now we talk patents. Now people go after each other. People are getting dumber. It is getting harder and harder to come out as like, hey, I'm an inventor and I've came up with these great things. You don't see many new Mark Zuckerbergs coming out, right? So yeah, this system feels very flawed. We do feel like the lies are getting added, and we're just adapting to a system that is really meant to restrict and regulate us, and that's really what it's starting to seem like. And that restrictions come with either they're erasing or rewriting certain things or past things that we once assumed were true, and now we go, hey, what is true and what is reality? This is really what it comes down to. It's not like, hey, what is fake and what doesn't appear what to be. Is this imagination or is this reality type feel? You start to go, is this, like the World Fair, also the same thing? Was it real or was it fake? And that's literally what it comes down to. And with that, guys, I know, Teddy, you're making me crazy. I'm crazy myself. Imagine me going through my For You page all the time, going through all this. I hope you guys are having fun. It is hard at this current time. I need your guys' support more than ever. You guys are the best goons. I hope I will see you again in the next video. Stay safe, stay strong, and goodbye.